All new tonight, the state's only provider of accessible vehicles for disabled people says rail construction is costing them hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Last week, the contractor dug up the sidewalk that people in wheelchairs need. The rail authority says it's doing its best to avoid disrupting access to the business. Daryl Huff has the latest.
Hart is very proud of its ability to be flexible with utility work here on Dillingham. If there's a problem on one side of the street, they move quickly to the other. Unfortunately, that's very hard on businesses trying to survive here.
How's someone in a wheelchair supposed to get through that?
Gus Soderholm showed us what used to be the sidewalk in front of his family business, Soderholm Bus and Mobility. It's been dug up and covered with steel plates and wooden planks linked by loose asphalt.
This is their standard. This is the standard.
The company retrofits minivans for accessibility and is the exclusive distributor of small transit vehicles and handy vans. Construction has rendered their lot risky for even experienced drivers. The latest work, which he said came with less than a week's warning, also rendered useless 3 parking stalls that were where people with disabilities examined vehicles or equipment they might purchase.
You know, a vehicle of that nature, we can't show that outside. You can't wheel someone in a wheelchair outside on that street.
Soderholm said the company has lost hundreds of thousands in sales and service revenue since Dillingham was torn up. They have purchased an alternate site in the neighborhood, but it's taken 6 years, 3 of them waiting for permits, to get construction underway. Meanwhile, he's not sure when his business will be accessible to his customers.
We were told 2 weeks. It's been a week. There's plywood planks farther down Dillingham in front of households, in front of businesses that have been there for over 6 months. So when they say 2 weeks, I don't even know how to react.
Another concern is that former councilman Joy Monahan has left Hart. For Dillingham businesses, he was the lead contact and cheerleader.
Kalihi is open for business.
And so hopefully we can get somebody who's going to be out there in the community just like he was. And so between Hart, between the contractors, and between the businesses, there needs to be constant information about what's going on, what to expect, so people in the area can plan accordingly.
Council member Tyler Dos Santos Tam sponsored the city's Transit Construction Mitigation Fund, but Soderholm is too big a business to qualify. Hart says it gave 3 weeks' notice of the utility installation under the sidewalk and says work is done at night and the sidewalk restored daily to avoid disrupting the business. It's going to be tough for businesses here for a while. Once the utility work is done, the guideway will be coming through, and that construction is scheduled until late 2029. Reporting from Kalihi, Daryl Huff, Hawaii News Now.